I work with women who are 35 and over, they've done all the diets, they know that it doesn't work, but they don't have a new manual to work from. They probably still work from the old manual of health and fitness that worked when they didn't have kids, when they were 21, when they lived themselves, they could do 6 hours of food prep, they didn't feel as sensitive to stress, you know. I mean, I used to be able to go out on a 3-day rave and probably feel all right, just a bit tired. Now I can't even have an extra cup of coffee and I feel anxious. I'm like, what's happening here? I have a feeling of dread and I'm sweating. I'm not at a rave, I'm in my kitchen, I've had an extra coffee. So the manual changes, chapters of your life change, your health changes, your hormones change, your focus should probably change. You know, back in the day when you were in your early 20s, it was probably to look good because you had a music festival coming up or whatever. Now it should be about being functional, longevity, looking after your health as we age, you know, helping ourselves through hormone transitions like perimenopause. So that's what I'm all about. And today I'm going to talk to you about a client that I've got called Patty or Patricia. It depends what her behaviour's like, what I call her. So she came to me about a year ago. She was suffering pretty badly with things like going to her bed and having heart palpitations, waking up during the night feeling anxious. Menstrual migraines were taking her out the game for 3 days. Now she works for herself. She's got a kid, a dog and a man. You can't be out the game for 3 days with a migraine, especially happening every month. Like, you know, that's terrible if you're self-employed. So we had to try and sort that. Now, one of Patty's problems was she was working from the old manual that used to work. And I get it, because everybody does that. It's so normal to do that, because when you're not kind of taught what will work when you're older, and then you're not taught that, you know, that worked then because of this. We're just following people, usually online, that don't have the lifestyle that we have. You know, your health and your life is a blueprint. Yours will be different to mine and all the rest of it. So she was working from the old manual, feeling terrible, kind of crawling through the days. What was happening was, how many of you have done this? Let me know in the comments, message me, I want to know. I did this where she had a coffee for her breakfast. Okay, cause low calories in it. Low calories, I mean, truly if I'm having a coffee for my breakfast, I'll get into the dressing stuff that I want to get into. Come on. So she was doing that. Right, okay, get away with that now and then. And I'm not saying it's the cortisol coffee that's making you fat. It's not, right? But I'm going to tell you what it is. So she's having a coffee in the morning, and then it's another coffee in it, because coffee's an appetite suppressant. Let's be real, let's be honest about it. It suppresses your appetite. It's like back in the day, you'd be like, have a fag for my lunch. It's suppressing your appetite. And we're still in the society of like thin is in, when, you know, thin, but when you're an old bird and you sit down in a chair and you can't get off that chair again, that's the end of your life in that chair. That's the last chapter. That's chapter chair, right? So we're not thinking about that. So she's having a coffee, picking, feeling a bit fucking sketchy by the time kind of like 2 o'clock comes. Like, I'm going to need to eat, just, I'm feeling weird, I'll need to eat something sugary or something to kind of bring me back round. You know how it is. And then you're probably on this spiral of picking all day. That's tough. But what's happening there is your blood sugar. Now, when you were in your 20s, you could have probably starved yourself a lot easier. You could have a cup of coffee for lunch. You'd feel all right. You wouldn't feel anxious. You wouldn't be sitting worrying about your council tax like that. Has it went up, Jim? Right? You were in your 20s. It's different now. So your blood sugar is much more sensitive, and it gets sensitive as we go through things like perimenopause, for the reason of estrogen. Now, misconception that estrogen is declining fast in perimenopause. It's all over the place in perimenopause. It's super sky high, then it could be rock bottom, then it could be medium, then it could be high, low. So I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. It's quite like a dodgeball situation, do you know what I mean? Although this dodgeball is allowed to hit you in the face, it doesn't need to stay below the waist. It's not a rule in perimenopause. So you've got that your blood sugar is more sensitive. You're more sensitive to stress, you know, as your hormones shift. And I'm talking 35 and over. You should be looking to stabilise that. And I know what you're doing. You're trying to shift the timber. And if you have the coffee, then you don't need to eat. But what's going to happen is your blood sugar's going to fall to the floor. You're going to pick shite because you need to make yourself feel better. And you never get out the bit. You're in a cycle, a loop of shite. You're eating shite, then your sleep will be affected. The next day you're going to be able to smash out a workout. You're tired, you've destroyed your blood sugar. And then what was happening to her? 3 days out the game with a menstrual migraine. every time she's having a period. There's 3 days of not eating well, not being able to train, like accumulative over the year. It's a lot of days that you're not being able to be your full self. So we have to understand that yes, the old manual said we can have coffee for our lunch and breakfast, but the new manual doesn't say that. It says you've got to keep your blood sugar steady, and we can do that by having a nice protein breakfast. Now, you don't need another list of recipes. You just need to start applying this. Eat before you have a coffee and see how you feel. Then you can have a snack if you want. Listen to me carefully. Snacks aren't to fill you up. You don't have a snack because you're hungry. You have a snack because it's a fridge cigarette. You're wanting a moment of joy. Work's been shite. You want a wee lift. So account for it, right? Don't cut it out. If you say to me, this is a red flag when I get a client, I'm going to cut out chocolate. When I'm good, I'm brilliant and I don't eat this and I don't eat that. No, well, you're not, because here you are now. So keep it in. If you want a wee bit of chocolate, if you want a curly whirly, then yes, because see if you can't keep this up for one day, then don't think you're going to be able to do it for 10 years. And what's the point then? So if we have a protein breakfast, the coffee after it, it should make you feel a lot better. Then you have a lunch, and then we can have a snack in between dinner, and then maybe a wee bit of cheeky chocolate after dinner. That is all right. Your diet should look really good, mostly whole foods. But when I look at somebody's diet, I want to see some curly whirlies in there. I want to see a chalk ice in there. If I don't, I think you're a sociopath or you're telling me lies. And I think this isn't going to be sustainable. You know what I mean? Because when you're still in that trap of thinking foods are bad and good, that's when the fuck it button comes in. But I'm telling you that now the fuck it button comes in when you're over 35 and you're trying to do the coffee for food diet, because it's not going to work for you. Our hormones are too sensitive. We need to start supporting our body through things to then get the best. So in the KP method, I work on inputs, right? Because if we get all the inputs right, which you need to do because you're not 21 anymore, the output is better. And I know this myself. When my inputs are good, I can train better and I can get the adaptations from training, which means I can get into good shape. When I put the inputs into my food, my sleep, my energy, my mindset, then I can set myself up for the best possible outcomes. And that's just what we need to do now that we're 35 and over. So I hope that was helpful. Please reach out if you need any help with anything. But I mean, stop having coffee for your breakfast and then wondering why you feel like shite. I need to sit down, Jim. My God, I need to sit down.